Invest in it right now to make the next program on Nova possible. Call the number on your screen or visit our safe and secure website. Make a generous gift, whether an ongoing sustaining gift or a one-time annual donation. Please take the first step and take action right now.
Everything we've talked about today is the mission of PBS. Our profound responsibility to you and everyone across our community is to deliver programs that you need and want, covering the vast world of information, culture, and learning. But the key to all of it is you. You make PBS happen through your support. You keep it strong with your support. Through your support, you ensure that PBS can continue to bring a world of information, education, entertainment, and wonder. Please help build a strong and vibrant future for this station. It's so very essential, especially now. Your donation today helps make sure that service shut down will be here for you tomorrow. Take a moment to act. Do it before the next program begins. Your single gift can truly provide a gift that lasts a lifetime. Thank you.
Here on this PBS station, we enjoy free access to the best entertainment and powerful storytelling. This precious opportunity is only made possible with your generous donation. And when you make a qualifying sustaining contribution or annual gift all at once, we have a new way for you to expand your relationship with this station with a terrific benefit called PBS Passport. PBS Passport unlocks a digital library of thousands of hours of great PBS and local programming, which you can enjoy on your computer, phone, and digital media player at your convenience. With Passport, you can escape to a world beyond your doorstep and enjoy the recognition of shows you may have missed, or relax and indulge in the comfort of your favorites. And when you make a donation, now one of our two guests will receive a great day compared to your choice and enjoy the benefit of PBS Passport. Plus, you'll also make all the programs you love on this station possible. So don't delay. Go online now and begin your PBS Passport experience today.
So unless I
Let me remind you one more time of the great gifts that we would love to send you. With a sustaining gift of $7 or an annual donation of $84, we'll send you this wonderful game-changing plan book. Make a $10 sustaining donation or an annual gift of $120, and you get to choose between the 2 DVD sets of the planets or the hardcover companion book based on the program. And if you can't decide, just make a generous gift supporting Nova and this station at the $18 sustaining level, or an annual donation of $216, and we'll send you all 3 items. Plus, when you make a contribution at any of these suggested gift levels, you can unlock all the additional programs available on PBS Passport. Every day, PBS connects you with informative, intelligent, and inspiring programs to satisfy a world of curiosity. Programs that enrich the lives of everyone in your family. Make this the moment that you connect with this PBS station. Make the call or click online.
on the shelf.
If you've already made that call or click your support, or you've already become a sustaining contributor, thank you. If you haven't, take the final opportunity before you join another program. This is your last chance to secure these wonderful contributions, including the Planet Book, the 2 DVD set, and the hardback companion book. All great items that we'd love to send you as our way of thanking you for your support. You and only you have the power to provide this station with the resources it needs to continue its mission of providing the best unique, essential programs that you rely on. Again, if you have already called, thank you. But it's not too late to join this celebration by going online or calling the number on your screen. Now, on to another great program
He's invited to walk
here
on
on
the
the
water,
station.
and he actually makes it a huge
Stand
step.
the station. Thank
And then he says he loses faith. But it seems to me that one could see that in terms of what you've been saying at the point where thought took over. He started going down. That was the time when he started going down. But he was actually
The fun.
the reason that I'm referring to that is because I sense in what you're saying
guidance technology
that
took astronauts to the moon and back.
there is something
To intercept
that
with engineered solutions
supports, that is a support
we
That's not support pushing limits fragmented from something else. But there's an abiding something which must be sustaining the person. I wouldn't put it that leaves the door open, that opens the door.
Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
The idea is in gone.
Thank you. Additional funding is provided by the
Yes,
Nova
I
Science
see the
Trust.
trap. In you, there will be higher self. In you, there will be autonomy and maybe we shouldn't say anything about that. No, we can say this. To see, look what we have asked this morning. To see appetite, desire, to see the implication, the structure of pleasure, and its no relation to enjoyment and to joy. To see all that, to see, not but actually, through observation, through attention, through care, through careful seeing, that brings an extraordinary quality of intelligence. Of intelligence is sensitivity.
You're watching
In seeing.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Henry here. So today is our very first day of responding to the needs of city residents.
So you're saying that
We got some functional line, we got some folks that want to take a seat up. We got about 13 bags today, and we're going to deliver it. They all knock up. They all knock up.
yes.
They're all knock up.
Intelligence is not all the time if you're alive. Not if you're alive. If you're seeing.
Up there, we've been reaching out to organizations.
I see
them actually estimated 2,000 pounds of white
people of control.
We are going to pass out groceries again, but this time we have about 800 individuals
who have control,
delivering
suppress,
groceries.
furiously,
My long-term goal is
discipline
building
themselves,
initiative.
torture themselves.
When this is all
This is
over,
war
everything that we've built so far should come crumbling
for
down.
God, for truth, and mindedness will torture, broken, brutalized. You, such a
There's so
man can
many
see
people who want to
truth.
support this effort, and it's just amazing how
You need it.
sometimes the best thing
Creative mind. Mind that's whole, that's mind that's holy in itself.
Comcast Washington is.
I was going to say something holy. Unless the mind is sacred, you can't say what is sacred. So, and I said, sorry, I won't touch any of that. It's no meaning. So, I don't know how it has happened, but I've never for a second controlled myself. I don't know what it means.
And yet, amazingly, you know what it is in others.
Oh, obviously you can see it.
So this is something that you're able to see without having
Gone through it.
yet without having gone through it. Now, this to me is profoundly mysterious.
No,
I don't mean in the sense of mystification,
no,
but I mean it's miraculous.
no, not necessarily. I'll show you something, sir. Must I get drunk in order to find out what it is to be sober?
Oh no.
Can't I see a man who is drunk and say, God, see the whole movement of drunkenness, what lies behind it, what he goes through. See it and finish.
But it seems to me in my listening to you that you're doing more than just observing that someone over there has fallen on his face. Therefore,
No.
you're right. There's something that's very deep here,
Of course.
at least to me, that you've said. Control, in the very, very deep sense, is an activity, not a product. And something that you haven't experienced that we would call normally intangible is nevertheless acutely present to you.
Yes, yes.
And I take it that what you said is that intelligence reveals that. Intelligence, if intelligence is allowed to reveal it.
I think so. Allow. That's the danger, to allow intelligence to operate. Which means you have intelligence, and then you allow it.
Yes, I see the trap of that construction. Yes, I see what you mean. Yes, because now we've got an observer who's got a new gimmick.
Yes.
Yes, I see what you mean. Yeah. Please go on, please.
So, you see, that's why discipline has a different meaning. When you understand pleasure, when you understand its relationship to enjoyment and to the joy and happiness and beauty of happiness, beauty of joy and so on, then you understand the utter necessity of a different kind of discipline that comes naturally. So look at the word discipline in itself means to learn. To learn, not to conform, not to say I must discipline myself to be like that or not to be like that.
Hey,
The word
where'd you come
discipline, as we both see, is to learn. That to learn means I must be capable of hearing, of seeing, which means the capacity which is not cultivable. You can cultivate a capacity, but that's not the same as the act of listening. I don't know.
Oh, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Mm-hmm. Yes, I follow. Very clear, very clear.
The capacity to learn demands a certain discipline. I must concentrate. I must give my time to it. I must set aside my efforts in a certain direction and all that. That is, developing a certain capacity needs time.
Yes.
But perception has nothing to do with time. You see an act, fear, you follow?
Yes.
That means, look, now the ordinary human beings are conditioned, now as they are, by the culture, by the civilization they're living. They accept nationalism. Say for instance, let's take that for example. They accept nationalism. And the flag, the nationalism, and all the rest of it. Nationalism is one of the causes of war.
Oh, yes, yes.
As patriotism and all the rest of it. Now, we don't see the danger of nationalism because we are conditioned to nationalism as being security.
But you see our fear of the enemy. Yes, right. And contemplating that fear of the enemy dulls our capacity to deal with the danger.
So, fear, pleasure, and discipline. You follow that? Huh? Discipline means to learn. I am learning about pleasure. Mind is learning about pleasure. Learning brings its own order.
Its own.
Its own order.
Yes, yes. That's what I've been calling miracle.
Yeah.
It just asks you to just jolly well leave it alone.
It brings its own order. And that order, it says, don't be silly, control yourself, finished. I talked to a monk once. He came to see me. He had a great many followers. And he was very well known. He's still very well known. And he said, I have taught my disciples. He was very proud of having thousands of disciples. Yes, yes. And it seemed rather absurd for a guru to be proud.
He was a success.
He was a success. And success means Cadillacs or Rolls Royces, European and American followers. You follow all that circus that goes on.
And his gimmick works.
Gimmick works. And he was saying, I have arrived because I have learned to control my senses, my body, my thoughts, my desires. I've held it, as the Gita says. Hold your, something or other, you're riding a horse, holding them. I went on about it for some length. I said, sir, what at the end of it? You've controlled. Where are you at the end of it? He said, what are you asking? I have arrived. Arrived at what? I have achieved enlightenment. Just listen to it. So follow the sequence of a thought of a human being who has a direction which he calls true. And to achieve that, there are the traditional steps, the traditional path, the traditional approach, and he has done it. And therefore he says, I've got it. I've got it in my head. I know what it is. I said, oh my God. He began to be very excited about it because he wanted to convince me about being a big man and all that. I said, just with his eyes kept very quiet and listen to him. And he quieted down. And then I said to him, we were sitting by the sea, and I said, you see that sea, sir? He said, of course. Can you hold that water in your hand? When you hold that water in your hand, it's no longer the sea.
Right.
He couldn't make out. I said, what? And the wind was blowing from the north, a slight breeze, cool. And he said, there's a breeze in there. Can you hold all that? No. Can you hold the earth? No. So what are you holding? Words? You know, sir, he was so angry. He said, I won't listen to you anymore. You're an evil man. And walked out.
I was thinking of the absurd irony of that. All the time he thought he was holding on to himself, and he just let go as he got up and walked away.
So you see, so that's what I mean. So learning about pleasure, about fear, really frees you from the tortures of fear and the pursuit of pleasure. So there is a sense of real enjoyment in life. Living then becomes a great joy. It isn't just a monotonous routine going to the office, sex and money.
I've always thought it's a great misfortune that in that splendid rhetoric of our Declaration of Independence, we have that phrase, the pursuit of pleasure.
Pursuit of pleasure.
Because the child, the bright child, is reared on that.
Oh, right.
And you when you're very young, you're not about to turn around and say everybody's daft. That's
so. From this, you see, discipline in the orthodox sense has no place in a mind that's really wanting to learn about truth. Not philosophize about truth. Not theorize about truth. As you say, tie ribbons to it, but learn about it. Learn about pleasure. It is really out of that learning comes an extraordinary sense of order, which we were talking the other day. The order of which comes with the observation in oneself of pleasure. The order. And there is pleasure, there is enjoyment. A marvelous sense of ending each enjoyment as you live, each moment. You don't carry over the past enjoyment. Then that becomes pleasure. Then it has no meaning. The repetition of pleasure is monotony, is boredom. And they are bored in this country and other country. But they're fed up with pleasure. But they want other pleasures in other directions. And that's why there is the proliferation of gurus in this country. Because they all want, the circus kept going. So discipline is order. And discipline means to learn about pleasure, enjoyment, joy, and the beauty of joy. And when you learn, you find that there's always new.
Well, thought's not the right word. Something clashed in the communication of what you have been
Outside
pointing to.
agitators were behind much of the conflict.
If you don't mind, I'd rather say that you've been pointing to than to use the phrase.
Is the first step that comes, not the last
looters,
step.
criminals, rioters, Antifa, and others.
Today, the White House doubled down on that
if we
idea, going
understand
so far as to
This
suggest
whole question of
activists and professional anarchists
joy.
are invading on communities,
It is
staging
they
bricks and
understand it
weapons to
only comes
instigate
in
violence.
film to observe.
That post and its accompanying video
And in
was
the
taken down,
observation,
and
learning,
with good reason.
and they are saying all at the same
This
minute, not
investigative
at the same
researcher
moment.
says that hasn't stopped
learn,
any longer, so
then
blaming everyone from undercover
It
police
is
to the
the
far right
doing,
to Antifa
the
to the
seeing,
far left for planting bricks to goad protesters into
taking
violence.
place at the
I think it's really
same
important
time.
that people don't
That
take
is
pictures at this time.
All these marvelous
Fact checking
participles
and correct information.
being in the
But
infinite
good
mode in
fact checkers
themselves.
are getting to the
In
bottom of these
themselves.
posts. Like
Yes.
this video in Los Angeles.
I don't know, man. That don't look right to me.
A Jewish community center clarified it
A
placed
little
them
while
there to
back,
protect its property.
It occurred to me that
Some random ass bricks, bro. Ain't no construction.
if we
And
paid
it's not
attention
so random.
to
Video
our
evidence shows
language
they were
as
there
well as
before
to the
George
flowers
Floyd
and the
was
mountains
killed.
and the clouds.
So even though the White House,
The language, not only in terms of individual words, but words in context,
through this video and through posting it on the official White House account.
we would refer
CDC
then
asked
to
the
what we
White House
call
why it
usage
posted those claims and then
Would,
later removed them. The
through
White House did not
perception,
respond.
intelligence,
Katie Nicholson, CDC News.
disclose themselves completely.
Well, next, it's become a necessity.
we-
So many people
we
work
say,
from
don't
home
we,
during the pandemic, exhausting.
That one is pleased, one is joyed. But if we ask somebody, what have you been doing? And he said to us, I've been pleasing myself. We think that was a little odd. We wouldn't think it strange at all if he said, well, I've been enjoying myself. Now we don't mind that. But we don't pay attention to what we say to even.
That's right, sir. As somebody said, I came back after lunch of the meal, and somebody said, have you enjoyed your meal? And I said, we're not pigs to enjoy.
Oh, good Lord. Yes, exactly. Exactly. I suppose he must be He must feel very righteous. What he denied himself during the meal.
It is, so it's a question of attention, isn't it?
Yes.
Question of attention. Whether you are eating or whether you're observing pleasure. The attention. That's the thing we have to go into very, very deeply. I don't have this time now. What it means to attend. Whether we attend to anything at all. Or is only a superficial listening, hearing, seeing, which we call attending. Or the expression of knowledge in doing. Attention, I feel, has nothing to do with knowledge or with action. In the very attending is action. And one has to go into this again question of what is action? And that's perhaps we can do it another day.
Yes, I see a relation between what you just said about action and what a few conversations ago we came to with the word movement.
Yes.
Ongoingness. And when you were talking about standing and looking at the tree on the mountain, I remembered when I was in Rishikesh, I was staying at one of the ashrams there, and actually the Vedanta Forest Academy. And when I got to my quarters, a monkey came and sat on the windowsill with her little baby. And she looked full into my face, and I looked full into hers, but I think she looked fuller into mine. I had that strange feeling that I was actually a human being being investigated, or as the students say today, being psyched out by this monkey. And it was a profound shock to me. And
talking of monkeys, I was in Benares, the place I go to usually. I was doing yoga exercises, half naked, and a big monkey with black face and long tail came and sat on the veranda. I closed my eyes and I looked, and there was this big monkey. He looked at me and I looked at her. A big monkey is a powerful thing. And it stretched out its hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I walked up and held her hand. Like that, held it.
Simple.
held it.
And it was rough, but very, very supple, extraordinarily supple. But rough. And we looked at each other. And it said, it wanted to come into the room. I said, look, I'm doing exercises, I have little time. Would you come another day? I kind of talked to it, come another day. So he looked at me, and I withdrew, went back. He stayed there for 2 or 3 minutes and gradually went to this.
Oh, marvelous. Just marvelous. Complete act of attention between you.
There was no sense of fear. It wasn't afraid, I wasn't afraid. A sense of,
This reminds me of a story I read about Ramana Maharshi, how when he was a young man, he went and lived in a tiger's cave. And that was occupied by the tiger, and the tiger would come back after the hunt, and in the early hours of the morning, and sleep with him. To read that within the environs of our culture is well, it starts. You feel undone when you read that. If you think for a moment you could allow yourself to believe it, but in the context of what we've been saying about the monkeys, and this marvelous story you told me, I wish I could have shaken the hand of that little mother with her baby. I wasn't ready to.
No, I heard it was really, I don't know, there must have been a communication, there must have been a sense of friendship, without any antagonism, without any fear, without any, it looked at, and I think attention is something not to be practiced, not to be cultivated. Go to a school to learn how to be attentive. That's what they do in this country and in other places. Say, well, I don't know what attention is. I'm going to learn from somebody who will tell me how to get it. Then it's not attention.
Speed reading, it's called.
Speed reading.
1,000 words a minute.
So that's why I feel there's a great sense of care and affection in being attentive, which means diligently watching. That word diligent comes from legere, of course, to read. To read exactly what it is, what is there. Not interpret, not translate it, not contrive to do something with it, but to read what is there. There is an infinite lot to see. There is tremendous lot to see in pleasure, as we saw.
Oh, yes.
And to read it, and to read it you must be watchful, attentive, diligent, care. But we are negligent. The opposite, you are negligent. We see it. What's wrong with it?
There's a colloquial remark in our tongue when somebody wishes to secure attention, they will say, "Do you read me?"
Yeah.
That, of course, has been taken over in technology into different aspect. But quite apart from what someone would be saying with earphones on in a plane, it's just common ordinary practice. Sometimes a person will say that.
Are you reading me here?
So what we have done is really read this whole map from the beginning of responsibility, relationship, fear, pleasure, all that we have. Just to observe this extraordinary map of our life.
And the beauty of it is that we've been moving within the concern for the question of the transformation of man,
yes,
which is not dependent on knowledge or time, without getting worried about whether we're getting off the track. It is happening naturally. And that I take it is not a surprise to you, of course, but I'm sure that I'm sure it's shocking in terms of.
And that's why also, sir, it is right to live with the company of the wise. Be with a man who is really wise, not this phony people who are wise, but the real wisdom. Not bought in books, not attending classes where you're taught wisdom. Wisdom is something that comes with self-knowing.
Reminds me of a hymn in the Veda that talks about the goddess of speech, who never appears except among friends.
Yeah.
Marvelous. Uh, Actually, that means that unless there is the care, the affection that you mentioned, that is continuous, concurrent with attention, there can be nothing but babble. There can babble. That
which the modern world is encouraging, you see.
Yes.
Again, which means the superficial pleasures, not enjoyment of war. You follow, superficial pleasures have become a curse. Because and to go behind that is one of the most difficult things for people to do.
Because it goes faster and faster.
That's just it.
It goes faster and faster.
And that's what is destroying the earth, the air, everything are destroyed. There is a place I go to every year in India, where there's a school. It is, the hills are the oldest hills in the world.
What a beautiful thing.
Nothing has been changed. No bulldozers, no new houses. It's an old place with old hills, and amongst there is a school with which I'm connected and so on. And you feel the enormity of time, the feeling of absolute non-movement, which is civilization, which is all this circus that's going on. And when you come there, you feel this utter quietness, in which time has not touched it, time in the sense. And when you leave it and come to civilization, you feel rather lost. The sense of, what is all this about? Why there's so much noise about nothing? And that's why it is so odd and rather inviting, a great delight to see everything as is, including myself, to see what I am. Not through the eyes of a professor, a psychologist, a guru, a book, just to see what I am and to read what I am. Because all history is in me. You follow?
Of course. There's something immensely beautiful about what you've said. Do you think in the next conversation we have, we could talk about the relation of beauty to what you've said? Thank you so much.
May we go on? with what we were talking about the other day, the day before yesterday morning. How difficult it is, we say, to face facts. Facts being that which is actually taking place now. The word actual, not the potential or the possible, but as in French, what is now, what's going on. And for most of us, it's very difficult to face that without any distortion or deviation. The division between the observer and the observed, the actual thing that's going on, and the one who is watching that which is happening. That's what we came to in our talk the other day. Should we go on from that? Yes, that's right. We said, yes, we'll go into that present. May we go on with this? Go on. Most of us want. Can we, each one of us, face the fact, the actual reaction, which we call fear. That's what we're discussing, the question of fear. Watching it without the interference of thought, which naturally distorts or moves away or deviates from that which is actually taking place. And is there the division between that which is happening psychologically, inwardly, and the one who is observing what is taking place? That's the question we must seriously go into. Because where there is division between the observer and the observed, or the thinker and the thought, there must be conflict, there must be contradiction, there must be either controlled suppression or running away. The observer imposing what he thinks is right according to his values, his tradition, his condition. So we must really understand this question very carefully and deeply, whether there is such a division between the actual reaction that is going on within us when there is fear, and the one who says, I am afraid, and so there is a separation from the entity or the thinker that says, I'm different from fear. Because you see, it's a question which leads into further complex things, which is, if the division exists, then the doer, the actor, the observer, the thinker can operate on that which he is observing. Then he can control, shape, alter. And that's what we traditionally have been doing. And we're asking now, is such a division between the observer and that which is actually going on, is it a reality? We have made it into a reality. because it's become a traditional habit to divide. Me and not me, we and they, my belief and your belief, and so on, so on, so on. Now, is this an actual fact that which is happening, can it be observed without the observer, without the one who says, I can do something about it? Then, if it can be done, then we remove entirely and completely the whole question of conflict between this and that. I hope I'm making it clear. Please don't listen to me. I'm not. But let us, each one of us, find out the truth of it.
When something is happening, you actually can observe. You cannot observe. In other words, if I get up and I have an inclination to run down the road, I have an inclination to hit someone. That inclination, if I observe it, it's already happened after this observation is already happened.
That's it. It's already happened, and therefore the observer created.
Enforcement role should only be used as a matter of last resort and only in the most urgent and dire of situations. We are not in one of those situations now. I do not support invoking the Insurrection Act. On Monday night, as CBC News watched, Mark Esper met with some of those who've been protecting the White House. That visit by Esper came just after he'd been with Trump at that church, where protesters had just been forcibly cleared from the area to make room for the president. Esper today acknowledged it was just a photo op. And as for Trump's threat to soon use U.S. troops, he said they should instead be used to protect the rights of Americans to assemble. And tonight, more support for demonstrators, this time from former President Barack Obama.
I want you to know that you matter. I want you to know that your lives matter.
In a live-streamed discussion on racial injustices, Obama suggested the demonstrations are happening on that.
When there is no such division, then
He said
you
things have been
eliminate
difficult
all
and scary,
together.
he said, but because of those protests,
They've also been an incredible
When there is such division,
opportunity for people to be
the observer
to some of these other.
then can analyze that which is
They
happening.
offer an opportunity for us to all work together to
And then the whole process of analysis and so on, which is very good for the moment.
America.
But if it is not, if there is no actual division, then that which is happening undergoes a radical transformation. That's all my point.
He wrote tonight, Donald Trump is the first president in my lifetime who does not try to unite the American people. He doesn't even pretend to try. He says, quote, "We're witnessing the consequences of 3 years without mature leadership."
No. You made a statement, just let's make it clear. When we observe, when there is division, then thought is an option.
This is the ninth leg of protests, but the crowds are not.
Thought then can say, I will control it, I will run away from it, I will suppress it, I will analyze it, and go through all that process. When there is no observer who is the very essence of thought, which is the past, I don't know. Then there is only actually what is happening. Can that actuality, the fact, be observed without the movement of thought? If the movement of thought takes place, then you are acting from the past, and therefore destroy, deviate, run away from it, and so on, so on, so on. Full stop.
what's happening on the streets of New York shows no sign of slowing down. The march last night is stretched as far as the eye can see. Cornell Watts has been out every day since the protest began.
I feel like if I'm not here doing my part, I can't talk liberation, I can't talk Black Lives Matter.
Chase came out for the first time
Then,
today.
but then what you find out? 2000. I'll tell you, I mean, if you can discuss this, you see, not that, don't if you say what's then going on, then you're asking abstract, hypothetical question.
They're gonna put me down as Caucasian. That's what they said to me in the prison after they let me out 2.5 weeks ago. So we're putting you down as Caucasian. I said, no, you're not. You're putting me down as indigenous. Shits. What the fuck? Who are these people? Who are these people? RCMP officers, 6 of them, in my town, descended on me 2.5 weeks ago for sitting in the fucking park. And they kicked the shit out of me and twisted my body and tortured me and held me for 10 to 12 hours in their fucking prison. Torture. And then they tried to kill me 3 days later. Long story short, I'm still fucking alive. And nobody cares in my town. No media, right?
What is it you don't agree with?
No law, right? No hospital fucking cares, no? No representation?
I see. That is the happening at the moment of anger.
What the fuck?
There is no observer. Only the observer comes into operation.
When are we going to understand that it's all about community? When are we going to start fucking understanding that?
Then the operator, the doer, the thinker, acts upon it. And then the whole problem of conflict arises.
No problem here. I don't know why everybody's treating each other like shit all the time. That should stop. Yeah, and shitty people at the top, like presidents, step down. RCMP? Huh? You fuckers? Step down. All of you. Ones that kicked the shit out of me and tortured me, you shitheads. Step down. And then we'll hug it out. Step down. And then we're gonna strip you of everything and put you into the woods. See if you can fucking figure out a way back. I'm done with you, you fucks. I think you're not redeemable anymore, possibly.
And I know at that moment that what was being said, and it was true, what was being said. My relationship with the truth of his observation.
Or just turn in your badge. Go home. I like that idea. Do that. Be honorable. You lose. You don't wear a gun anymore, you fuckers.
That without the whole movement of thought coming in. That's all my point.
For the most part, there is
COVID-19 trying to kill minorities, trying to kill people that don't look white. That's a shitty thing. Anybody who speaks out against it, shitty. You're fucking shitty, shitty government. Step down.
The observer would be the observer. In other words, the observer.
No, it's just one guy. I'm just one. Oh, there's millions of them. Look at them. All of them. All sorts of different colors too, aren't there? Not just black.
What would you consider for a moment? Observing that which is happening now. Just to observe.
Fuckers.
Can you do it?
And protests, of course, played out today in other parts of the world, including Greece.
Can I observe
frequency
like
outside the
jealousy
embassy
can
in
one
Athens,
observe jealousy
demonstrators threw flashbombs towards riot police. They
as
in
it is
turn
taking
fired tear
place?
gas, hoping it seems to disperse
Not
the angry crowd.
say right or wrong, rationalize it, why should not be, but just to, as it arises, as a flower blooms, just to watch it.
And a small but passionate crowd in Cape Town.
Not,
Protesters
not,
staged
can
rallies
you,
outside South Africa's
no,
parliament. Some
that's not what I mean, that's a way of talking, which is, please, not I, all right, there is jealousy. Is it possible to observe that reactions or jealousy without the movement of thought?
In other words, there becomes awareness.
No, I don't want to, in other words. You see, the moment you go out with something, then it becomes what is awareness and so on.
The moment you use the word observe it, can one observe it or whatever, there's a duality implied.
All I said that observer implies a duality.
Hog tie.
No,
Hog tie.
try it.
Fuckers.
You're jealous on something. Can you, what is your attitude?
Unbelievable.
Says he just come to check on her after she
Huh?
was in a car accident and didn't want to leave once the
Can
police
what
were on site.
that puzzle, that state of the mind which is impossible, just watch it. Not saying I must be clear what he's saying. Just watch it, see.
You don't need to kneel on it. If they're struggling in such a way that they need to be further restrained, you can always put a knee on the shoulder blade or the shoulder.
He says Canadian police have walked away from the takeoff
Why?
because it's dangerous.
Is physical, gentlemen said there is a certain resistance physically to what?
To a college training
Because you're
program
not comfortably
to
sitting,
answer the question today. But in Ontario,
or is it happening in the past,
what are you doing? What are you doing?
or when you're
This
walking?
video was taken a year ago.
Or you're saying there must be certain relaxation to observe?
Police officers use of force. And 3 years ago, it cited your coroner's inquest recommendation to reinforce regular and refresher training,
True.
the risk of death associated with the use of neck restraint techniques.
Why should they?
I sent a complaint like right the next
I'm asking something. Why should there be a physical reaction? Maybe I don't know. All of this is supposed to be a discussion in which each one of us takes part, not one or two, and the rest keep silent and listen.
Small comfort in this case.
I was going to ask you actually, when you, for instance, I think you're saying that if you're looking at fear, just try and watch it.
Let's
Same
turn
as
now to
difficult
the
with this.
COVID-19 pandemic. Canada has more than 93,000 cases. Ontario.
Because I would have thought the reason is because you want an answer, minorities want an answer to a problem.
Came from the Toronto area, which is still seeing an average of 150 new cases a day.
This is shitty news.
Under 300 new infections.
COVID-19. Hydroxychloroquine, fucking shit. Shove your medication up your poop holes, please. I'm done talking. I don't think we're gonna talk for a long, long time after this.
Straight, just don't say that. Or
Used as a treatment, or is it?
your body is not comfortable. Or there's a certain sense of
Same age when your father
the
was.
resistance
How
to
did that
the
change your life?
intensity of watching. The physical resistance to watching intensely. Because perhaps is it that we're not used to watching anything intensely? The moon, the sky, the trees, the whatever it is.
Nothing short of stepping
Now, can we
down.
put the question differently? Apparently, it seems we're all difficult, all this.
Strip all these fuckers, these media,
Why should
Don
God
Lemons and
interfere with
Cuomo's of their credentials.
Psychology.
Let them go home, live out the rest of their lives thinking about what they've done, how they've participated.
And just so it's
There is between the jealousy, the immediate event he
what's the result of it. All the
Step
things like
down.
this, isn't it, sir?
All of you.
I'm asking, can I observe, is there an observation? The moon, without the interference of thought?
This is a state
Huh?
of mind.
Huh?
It's a state of mind, awareness.
No, don't, please, sir, don't introduce state of mind aware. I'm just asking, can you watch the moon without thought drawing a curtain across it? No? Yes?
Occasionally.
Huh?
Occasionally.
Occasionally?
Occasionally.
All right. Can you watch the movement of cloud occasionally? Now, can you watch your reactions in the same way? Yes, huh?
Yes, this morning I have occasionally the experience of.
Not you, sir. Just to watch something without any movement of.
It's a subjective experience inside oneself. Gives you that of necessity, a kind of thought.
Why?
Because it's inside, it's not an outside thing that you can just look at. And not indulge in thought about it.
Because it doesn't affect us,
But it's not, but when it's inside.
unless we are doing it.
In a sense, in abstract, it's going on in the mind.
So can there be an observation without abstraction? Put it 10 different ways.
Well, would it involve observation?
Do I give up or do you give up?
There can be, and there sometimes is, but it's infrequent.
Sir, may I ask another question? Has it ever occurred to you that it's possible to live without any conflict?
It's totally different.
Huh?
It's totally different.
No, it's not. It's not.
I'm not the moon.
No, sir. I move the same thing, which is, we live in conflict, right? Now I'm asking a question related to what previously we talked about, the conflict between me, the duality. I'm asking a question, is it possible to live, if you ever asked yourself, without conflict? Have you? Between yourself, your wife, between yourself and somebody else, and conflict within yourself.
Yes, when one says, why should there be conflict? One is implying.
What's that?
When one says, why should there be conflict? One is implying that there must.
No, have you ever asked yourself?
Not until you suggested it the other day.
Yeah.
Huh?
Not until you suggested that it was possible the other day.
So I suggested, all right, have you found out that is possible or not possible?
It is possible.
Huh?
It is possible.
I know. Then it is not. You're already saying if it is possible, it is possible. Then you have blocked it. Or if you say it's not possible, you have blocked it. But to find out whether it's possible to live without conflict implies the observer, there should be no division. Right? Oh,
No, I do not agree.
oh, don't you
There
agree?
is a division between me and the moon.
I know, moon side.
You talked about the moon.
There's no conflict.
No, there's no conflict. That's right. But there is division.
No, because the moon doesn't very much affect us unless we are peculiar. Moon does affect that, but if we are not peculiar, we said it's easy to look. One may look at the moon intensely for some time because it doesn't affect us deeply. But can I equally observe? Can there be observation of our reaction without any shadow of thought? That's what we're discussing. From that arises whether it is possible to live a life without any sense of conflict. And conflict exists wherever there is division, right? Right, sir? The Jew, the Arab, the Dutch and the Malays and the English and so on, the division, rational division, psychological division, religious division, and so on. Now, as long as there is a division in oneself, there must be conflict. That's obvious, sir. Right? You agree, sir? Right. If you say so, how is one to eliminate that conflict?
All right, see.
They have tried different ways. That is, identify yourself with God. God will save you. Abandon yourself to God, some principle, or surrender yourself to something greater. Forget yourself. We have tried all those various systems which we hope to eliminate this conflict, right? But it hasn't, right? So I'm asking a question, which is, as long as there is division in the observer and the observed, there must be conflict, because there is division, right? Now, that division artificially created by thought, or is it actual? You follow that question? If it is actual, listen, which is not, which is not an illusion, not a fancy. If the division is actual, then I must live forever in conflict. One must live, right? If the division is not true, actual, factual, then as there is no conflict, right? Then the very thing which is being observed undergoes the change. I cannot put it more different.
Sir, what one is observing is often thought itself. So are you saying that the change comes about in thought itself?
Yes, sir. Can you observe, is that not you? Can thought, please, just listen, fine. Can thought observe itself?
Going through our minds.
No, just not throughout. Just I'm asking a question, which is, is there an observation of thought by thought? Or can thought itself be conscious of its own movement? Well, one thought can say, I'll watch the other thought moving. And so control it, shape it, and so on. But I'm asking a different question, which is, can thought be conscious of itself as a movement?
I was saying that the goal of thought is what is conscious of thought. Right?
What's that?
I was saying that the goal of thought is conscious of thought, not one part of thought.
That's right. Thought.
The essence, the whole of thought.
Of course. Thought is the whole of thought.
Yes, but usually say one part of thought.
No. You understood what the one thought is part of the whole. So can thought, which is the whole, be aware of itself?
You have said before that thought is always fragmentary.
Yes, sir. No. Thought is fragmentary, right?
But not always.
Wait, can thought, which is fragmentary, can that thought be aware of itself?
and I thought as a whole.
Now, with particular for, leave the whole for the moment, but at least it's more complex. Can say you have a particular form. Now, you have a particular form, a form. Can that a form be conscious of itself? Not other form is conscious of it.
With precisely 3.5 hours to spare.
Huh? I don't quite follow this.
Conscious of itself.
I'm asking, sir, let's put it, leave out form. Can consciousness be aware of itself?
New Horizons gives us our first
Consciousness means the whole
distant
content of
world
its
ever visited.
thought.
A world
I see, I don't
until
want to
now
bring in whole
had
and
only
that.
appeared as a fuzzy blob.
We thought the surface would be
Can
too
any
much
kind
of a deck
of
because
consciousness
Pluto is so
be aware of
small.
itself, or must
When
it
New
be
Horizons came by,
a particular
all
kind
these
of consciousness?
pictures, it literally
And
broke
must be the kind of consciousness which
Just a minute. You know what your
Pluto was
you know
a shock and
what your
revelation in so
consciousness
many
is, do you?
ways. It's turned out to be one of the most
not really
fascinating
know. Most of the
objects
time I'm
in
just
our
caught
entire
up.
solar
No,
system.
just if you look at, please, just your
Giant
consciousness
water ice mountains the
is
size
made
of the
up of
Rocky
this
Mountains in the United States.
right? The content
Ungraded terrain.
is your jealousy, anxiety, fear, love, hate, sexual demands, the whole human
We're seeing
endeavor,
ancient parts
struggle,
of Pluto, but
pain,
also
pleasure,
ridiculously young parts
sorrow,
of Pluto.
death, and so on. The whole of that is made up of all these little parts, right?
We even think we
Now,
see
can that
dunes which get blown
conscious
around by the very
be
thin atmosphere.
Small planets should be
aware
similar,
of
and they
itself?
should run out of energy in their
Or is
internal
that not
engines
possible?
and stop evolving like the moon did billions of years ago. Pluto didn't read any of those textbooks.
No, I moved away
One
from
of the most fascinating features being developed by New
it
Horizons
must be,
is the region.
you're saying the whole of it, that whole consciousness must be aware of itself, no particular aspect of it.
yes, put it that way, like
We get our first full frame view
what?
of Pluto and saw this region that looked like a heart, this heart-shaped region.
I don't know.
The western lobe of the heart is called Sputnik
What does it
1.
mean to you?
There are two ways.
No, what does it mean to you?
A giant planet of
Don't
frozen
ask me.
nitrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide
I give up, huh?
that stretches for over 330,000 square miles.
Krishnaji, can I just ask, isn't this
And at its edge
a matter of
lies a range of
seeing
mountains
something,
made of
understanding
frozen water
something
ice.
false, this is going on in the mind, and that coming to an end,
They rise nearly 4
and then the
miles
possibility
into
of
the dark
something else?
skies
I mean, I
of the
can't,
planet.
if I think now about being aware of my whole consciousness, I make effort to be aware of my whole consciousness, I mean, that's, that has no
As
meaning.
odd as that is,
Here
there is
we
something
begin by
even
asking,
weirder about the region. It's the size of the states of Texas and
there's
Oklahoma
your moment.
combined, and we can't find any craters on its surface.
There are almost
Can we
no
observe
impact
that?
craters on this, which means something is happening on the surface.
Pluto's heart is
The
young,
fact-
fresh ice.
We mean by
So what's
that,
creating it?
that which is actually
It's
taking place.
smooth, but it wasn't
Not
completely
a
smooth. It had this
second layer.
beautiful pattern
Or
of
a
sort of
movement.
cells or
But
polygons.
actually that is going on, which is happening. Not happen and then observe.
Detailed
But
imagery being
within it,
backed by New
happening
Horizons
itself.
reveals a puzzling network of
Right?
hexagon and
That's what we
hexagon
were
shapes.
discussing. Let's forget all the birthdays. Now, that's all I'm on.
That crisscross the frozen
And put it
nitrogen
in
surface.
way. So that is the central issue that we are trying to talk over together and find
It looks
whether
like
it's
there's
possible
material that's convecting underneath,
to look
like soup on the
at-
stove. You have
to
these things
observe
turning over,
that
making these
which is
shapes on the top.
actually taking place. That's all.
So we scratched our heads and wondered what could be making this strange behavior.
It's simple to do this. Really, in essence, it's simple to do this. Would you just
Our working theory is that somewhere deep in Pluto's interior are radioactive elements that generate heat as they decay, warming up the liquid layer beneath the planet's crust.
There's more than that, so I'm just.
Exotic ices on Pluto's surface, and underneath the water ice crust, which could easily be 100 kilometers thick, and there's actually a layer of liquid water that's around the rock.
This sunless ocean of water that has existed for billions of years beneath the surface of Pluto is being gently warmed by heat from the interior.
Good job. Come in and join us.
That little bit of heat that's leaking out, we think it's enough to drive the convection and these exotic patterns that we see on spotted Planitia. And that's because nitrogen it's very soft. It doesn't take very much heat to make it move.
As the nitrogen slowly bubbles up, the area is constantly being resurfaced, scouring away any evaporators.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
It's warmer
Can you,
underneath,
as
so then the glacial ices are upwelling in the middle and then spread out and then downwell on the side. And that's what makes those polygonal patterns that we see on the surface. We had no idea to expect that.
she's so forward.
But why all this activity here and nowhere else? Perhaps Pluto's heart is the site of a huge impact
Look,
that long ago punched a large hole in the
we've
surface,
been envious.
almost down to the vast
You know what's the
ocean
feeling of
beneath.
it? Can you, is
A
there an
great hole that
observation
slowly filled with
of
soft
that envy
nitrogen
and
ice,
ice? Just to
and
observe
now
that which is happening
gently
with all
churns
envy.
just above a warmer ocean.
Let's just start at the beginning. Now,
So there's a lot more going on in Pluto than we could ever imagine. You don't have to be a giant planet or a terrestrial planet to be an amazing place in the solar system. It just completely changes your view
that which
of
is
how all the
happening.
small planets operate and how they can
Now,
be
can they
massive
do that?
impacts.
That's what I stay with that. Wait, hold on. I'll use another word. Stay with that.
That's just answers. Its fleeting visit reveals the tiny speck that Clyde Tombaugh saw moving across the sky to be a dynamic, vibrant world. But Tombaugh died 9 years before New Horizons left Earth, so he never
So
saw
we begin.
up close.
So we began by asking.
He had asked
We're
if a
talking
mission
about
ever
fear.
did get launched so his ashes could be sent on the journey. And
Can
like
you,
the Clyde's
is there an
ashes,
observation of fear as
flew by
it is happening?
Pluto, and
That's all.
he was finally
To
visiting
put it
the
very,
place that
very
he
simple.
discovered. That was
After a lot of work.
As soon as I observe,
And Pluto holds a final surprise.
Now,
As
does
New
it disappear
Horizons turns its
so
camera
that
back
it
for
doesn't
one last
recur
look.
ever? Or
It
is
captures an
something,
image of
because
Earth's
you are
atmosphere,
observing with attention and you go on. Wait, look. So,
There's the
if
blue
you,
ring of its
it's only
atmosphere.
when there's inner
It's
tension, there comes.
like the Earth's atmosphere.
That's
Not only
it.
can
Huh?
we see a number of
So-
layers in the atmosphere, but we
Then
can
what
also
is that
see
attention?
mountains on the surface of the planet sticking up into that atmosphere.
Huh?
a thin,
No, it's not like what we are saying, what is that attention?
3 billion miles from Earth.
That image just epitomized everything we had done.
That's my favorite picture from the entire flyby. And I took to saying that the
No,
solar system had saved
no.
the best for last.
And the gentleman, he pointed out, and please, don't explain it away, just see
But
what
New
he says.
Horizons
He
isn't
says,
done.
when the
It expands its exploration
Then
of the hyperbelt
by
attend
continuing
to
on
that
toward
fear,
new
it
targets.
disappears.
This was an opportunity for the New Horizons spacecraft to
Now,
look at a
yeah,
different
is
object
there?
out in the Kuiper Belt, something that might be much
Here
more
we go.
typical of what could be found out in this region.
In another book.
On
So,
January
that will
1st,
that
2019, it
and
beamed
this
back
out
pictures of the most distant
that
object
when there
ever
is
visited.
attention, fear is not.
This object may be the most primitive
Huh?
object ever
So,
encountered by a
can I
spacecraft.
attend
Two
fear,
icy rocks
which is taking place
frozen in the
with that
moment of
attention?
collision.
By looking at this
That's
today,
because we are
we
putting
think we're
attention
looking back in
to
time to the origin of
it.
the
I
solar
won't
system.
speak, not your way.
If I'm confused, if I stick to my confusion, now the confusion may disappear, but I don't know them.
Into the
I
process
still
of
don't
the
know it.
creating
I'm
the
still in
solar
the same
system.
state.
No,
that you
no, I am confused. One is confused. And I attend to that confusion. Look, attend. Give attention to that
New
confusion.
Horizons gives us a
Furthermore, it
glimpse
is
of our
not.
origins.
So I've
Before
learned
it
something,
follows Voyager on an eternal journey
which is
out
when
into
there
the
is
stars.
attention, there is confusion is not.
That the way you say it, when there's attention, confusion
Just
is not,
6 decades ago,
but equally,
we
there
left
is
Earth
something
for the
there
first time.
that is not thought. In other words, it's a new state.
That's all, sir.
Yeah, but that new state is being thought. He wanted away from it.
That's right.
He said he was in a new state. When
Since
Not he was in a new state.
we've gone